What if I told you that some of the most powerful tools your body uses to protect itself from cancer are already built inside you, and you activate them every single time you eat? Most people think cancer prevention is all about genetics or luck, but science shows something very different. Your body is constantly fighting abnormal cells every day, and the foods you choose can either fuel that defense system or quietly shut it down. Today, I'm going to share 5 simple food-based strategies that help strengthen your body's natural ability to protect itself, slow unhealthy cell growth, and create an internal environment where cancer struggles to survive. Let's start with something most people underestimate: plant diversity. Your immune system depends on tiny helpers called gut microbes, and these microbes feed on natural compounds found in plants. When you eat a wide variety of colorful vegetables, herbs, fruits, seeds, and legumes, you're feeding the army that protects you. These microbes produce anti-inflammatory compounds that help control abnormal cell behavior. Studies show that people who eat a wide range of plant foods have stronger immune surveillance, meaning the body becomes better at identifying and eliminating damaged cells before they become a problem. This isn't about becoming vegetarian or eating perfectly, it's about variety. The more colors you add to your plate, the more protective signals you activate inside your body. The second strategy involves activating your body's natural anti-cancer shield, known as angiogenesis control. Cancer cells need blood vessels to grow. Without them, they struggle to survive. Certain foods naturally help your body regulate blood vessel growth so that healthy tissue thrives while abnormal growth is restrained. Foods like green tea, berries, turmeric, and cruciferous vegetables contain bioactive compounds that help maintain this balance. When you consume these foods regularly, you're not attacking cancer directly. You're supporting your body's ability to keep abnormal growth in check, which is exactly how the body was designed to work. The third food hack focuses on sugar control, and this one is critical. Cancer cells consume far more glucose than healthy cells. This doesn't mean sugar causes cancer, but it does mean excess sugar can create an environment that supports its growth. Highly processed foods and frequent blood sugar spikes can weaken immune function and increase inflammation. When you choose whole foods, fiber-rich carbohydrates, healthy fats, and balanced meals, you reduce glucose spikes and help your immune system stay alert and responsive. This creates metabolic conditions where healthy cells flourish and stressed cells are less likely to thrive. The fourth strategy is something many people overlook: using food to reduce chronic inflammation. Inflammation is part of healing, but when it becomes constant, it can damage DNA and interfere with immune defenses. Certain foods naturally calm this process. Olive oil, fatty fish, nuts, ginger, garlic, and fermented foods help send anti-inflammatory signals throughout the body. When inflammation is reduced, your immune system can focus on what truly matters: repairing damage, protecting healthy tissue, and maintaining balance. Think of it as lowering background noise so your body can hear danger signals more clearly. The fifth and final food strategy is activating your body's natural cleanup system, known as cellular renewal. Your body has an incredible ability to remove damaged cells and recycle their parts, but this system works best when it's not overwhelmed. Overeating, constant snacking, and ultra-processed foods slow this process down. When you give your body breaks between meals and focus on nutrient-dense foods, you allow this internal cleanup system to work more efficiently. Foods rich in polyphenols like berries, green tea, and dark leafy greens further support this renewal process, helping the body clear out cells that no longer function properly. Here's the most important thing to understand. These food strategies are not treatments, cures, or replacements for medical care. They are ways to strengthen the body you live in every day. Your immune system is active right now, scanning for abnormal cells, repairing damage, and maintaining balance. Food doesn't fight cancer for you. Food helps your body do what it already knows how to do better. The goal isn't fear, the goal is empowerment. Every meal is a signal. Every bite either supports healing or creates stress. And when you consistently choose foods that nourish your immune system, reduce inflammation, regulate blood sugar, and support cellular health, you're stacking the odds in favor of long-term resilience. If you found this helpful, take a moment to reflect on your next meal. Small choices, repeated daily, can shape your health in powerful ways. Your body is not weak. It's intelligent, adaptive, and capable. when you give it the right tools. When we talk about cancer, most people imagine something that suddenly appears out of nowhere. But the truth is far more interesting and far more hopeful. Your body forms abnormal cells every single day. This is normal. What matters is not whether these cells appear, but whether your immune system is strong enough to recognize them, control them, and remove them before they become dangerous. And one of the most powerful ways you support that system is through the foods you eat. Your immune system is not a single organ. It's a vast, intelligent network made up of white blood cells, chemical messengers, blood vessels, and even the bacteria living inside your gut. These systems communicate constantly, and food is one of their main languages. Every bite you take sends information to your body. It tells your immune cells whether to stay alert or go quiet, whether to repair damage or allow it to spread, whether to protect healthy tissue or become distracted by inflammation. One of the most important discoveries in modern science is that certain whole foods activate natural defense mechanisms already built into your body. These foods don't attack cancer cells like drugs do. Instead, they strengthen the systems that prevent cancer from growing in the first place. This distinction is critical. The goal is not to fight your body, but to work with it. One of these defense systems involves immune surveillance. Think of immune surveillance as your body's internal security system. Specialized immune cells patrol your tissues, scanning for cells that look damaged, mutated, or out of control. When these immune cells are well nourished, they are faster, more accurate, and more effective. When they are weakened by poor nutrition, chronic stress, or inflammation, abnormal cells are more likely to slip through unnoticed. Certain foods help sharpen this surveillance system. Foods rich in natural plant compounds, known as polyphenols, help immune cells communicate more efficiently. Berries, green tea, leafy greens, herbs, and spices contain these compounds. When consumed regularly, they help immune cells recognize danger signals more clearly. This doesn't mean you need large amounts. Even small, consistent servings send repeated signals that keep your immune defenses engaged. Another major defense system influenced by food is angiogenesis control. Angiogenesis is the process of growing new blood vessels. Your body needs this for healing and regeneration, but cancer depends on it to survive. Without access to blood vessels, abnormal growth struggles to expand. Your body naturally regulates angiogenesis, turning it on when needed and off when it's not. The problem arises when this balance is disrupted. Research shows that certain foods help your body maintain healthy angiogenesis control. Natural compounds found in foods like tomatoes, soy, green tea, turmeric, and cruciferous vegetables help regulate blood vessel growth. These foods don't block blood vessels indiscriminately. Instead, they help your body preserve balance, nourishing healthy tissue while limiting support to abnormal growth. This is an elegant system, and it works best when supported daily through diet. Then there's inflammation, which plays a dual role in health. Acute inflammation helps heal injuries and fight infections, but chronic, low-grade inflammation quietly damages DNA, interferes with immune signaling, and creates an environment where abnormal cells are more likely to thrive. Many modern diets unintentionally promote this chronic inflammation through excessive refined carbohydrates, processed oils, and low nutrient density. Whole foods help reverse this process. Foods rich in omega-3 fats, antioxidants, and fiber send calming signals throughout the immune system. They reduce unnecessary inflammation, so your immune cells can focus on true threats rather than constant internal noise. When inflammation is lowered, immune surveillance improves, and damaged cells are more likely to be repaired or removed before they cause harm. Your gut also plays a central role in all of this. Nearly 70% of your immune system is connected to the gut. The bacteria living there help train immune cells, regulate inflammation, and produce compounds that protect your DNA. These bacteria thrive on fiber and plant diversity. When you eat a wide range of whole plant foods, you're not just feeding yourself, you're feeding the microscopic partners that help protect you every day. A diverse gut microbiome produces short-chain fatty acids that strengthen the intestinal barrier, reduce inflammation, and improve immune signaling throughout the body. This helps prevent harmful substances from entering the bloodstream and reduces immune overload. In contrast, a diet low in fiber and high in processed foods starves beneficial bacteria and allows less helpful microbes to dominate, weakening immune defenses over time. Another critical defense mechanism supported by food is cellular repair. Your cells are constantly exposed to damage from normal metabolism, environmental stressors, and aging. Your body has built-in repair systems that fix DNA errors and remove cells that can't be repaired. These systems depend on nutrients like vitamins, minerals, and phytonutrients to function properly. Foods such as leafy greens, legumes, nuts, seeds, and colorful vegetables provide the raw materials needed for repair. They supply antioxidants that neutralize free radicals before they damage DNA and support enzymes that correct errors when they occur. When these systems work efficiently, the risk of abnormal cell survival drops dramatically. There's also the concept of metabolic health, which is deeply tied to immune function. When blood sugar levels are constantly elevated, immune cells become less effective. High glucose environments create oxidative stress and increase inflammation, both of which interfere with immune surveillance. Whole foods, especially those rich in fiber and healthy fats, help stabilize blood sugar and create metabolic conditions that support immune resilience. What's remarkable is how interconnected all of this is. Immune surveillance, angiogenesis control, inflammation regulation, gut health, and cellular repair are not separate systems. They are part of a coordinated defense network. Food influences every part of this network simultaneously. That's why focusing on whole, nutrient-dense foods has such a powerful cumulative effect. This doesn't require perfection. It requires consistency. The body responds to patterns, not single meals. Each time you choose foods that support these defense systems, you reinforce the signals that keep your internal environment balanced. Over time, these signals compound, strengthening your body's ability to protect itself. It's important to be clear and responsible here. Food does not cure cancer. Food does not replace medical treatment. But food absolutely influences how well your body can defend itself, repair damage, and maintain internal balance. That influence is supported by growing scientific evidence and aligns with how human biology has always functioned. When you understand this, eating becomes less about fear and more about strategy. You're not trying to avoid something. You're actively supporting something, your body's intelligence, resilience, and capacity for self-protection. And that's the most empowering message of all. Your body is not passive. It's dynamic, responsive, and remarkably capable. The foods you choose every day can help activate the defense systems that are already working for you, quietly and continuously, long before disease ever takes hold. Expand Keynote 2 for 1,500 words. Here is an expanded, clear, conversational explanation of Keynote 2, written in a Dr. William Lai-inspired tone. There are no headings, no bullet points, and the language stays focused on supporting the body's internal environment, not making treatment claims. When people hear the word cancer, they often imagine a single enemy that needs to be attacked. But from a biological perspective, cancer is less about an external invader and more about an internal environment that allows abnormal cells to survive, adapt, and grow. This is why controlling inflammation and blood sugar is so powerful. These two factors shape the terrain inside your body. And just like plants need the right soil to grow, abnormal cells need the right conditions to thrive. Inflammation is one of the most misunderstood processes in the body. In its healthy form, inflammation is a life-saving response. It helps fight infections, repair wounds, and signal immune cells to areas of damage. But when inflammation becomes chronic and low-grade, it stops being protective and starts becoming destructive. It quietly damages tissues, disrupts immune communication, and creates constant stress signals that interfere with normal cellular behavior. Chronic inflammation doesn't usually feel dramatic. It doesn't always cause pain or obvious symptoms. Instead, it simmers in the background, driven by poor sleep, constant stress, environmental toxins, and especially modern dietary habits. Highly processed foods, refined sugars, excess refined carbohydrates, and certain industrial oils can all contribute to inflammatory signaling when consumed regularly. This inflammatory environment sends confusing messages to your immune system. Instead of being sharp and targeted, immune cells become distracted. They're forced to respond to constant internal irritation rather than focusing on identifying and removing damaged or abnormal cells. Over time, this reduces immune efficiency and increases the chance that unhealthy cells will escape detection. Food has a powerful ability to calm this inflammatory noise. Whole foods rich in antioxidants, omega-3 fats, and natural plant compounds help shift the body out of a chronic inflammatory state. These foods don't shut inflammation down completely, and that's important. They help restore balance. They allow inflammation to turn on when needed and turn off when it's no longer necessary. Olive oil, nuts, seeds, fatty fish, herbs, spices, and colorful vegetables all send anti-inflammatory signals. They influence chemical messengers in the body that tell immune cells when to activate and when to stand down. When these signals are balanced, tissues are protected, and immune responses become more precise and effective. Blood sugar plays an equally important role in shaping the internal environment. Every cell in your body needs glucose for energy, but the way glucose enters the bloodstream matters. Frequent spikes in blood sugar create oxidative stress and increase inflammation. They also interfere with immune cell function and hormone signaling. Abnormal cells rely heavily on glucose. They consume it at a much higher rate than healthy cells. When blood sugar is constantly elevated, it creates an environment where these cells have easy access to fuel. This doesn't mean sugar causes cancer, but it does mean that metabolic imbalance can support unhealthy growth patterns. The modern diet often keeps blood sugar elevated for long periods of time. Refined grains, sugary drinks, desserts, and frequent snacking prevent insulin levels from returning to baseline. Over time, this leads to insulin resistance, increased inflammation, and impaired immune responsiveness. Whole foods help reverse this pattern. Fiber-rich vegetables, legumes, whole grains, healthy fats, and quality proteins slow the absorption of glucose into the bloodstream. This results in steadier blood sugar levels and less metabolic stress. When blood sugar remains stable, immune cells function more efficiently, inflammation decreases, and hormonal signals remain balanced. There is also an important connection between blood sugar and inflammation. Elevated glucose increases the production of inflammatory molecules. In turn, inflammation worsens insulin resistance, creating a cycle that feeds itself. Breaking this cycle through food is one of the most effective ways to improve the internal environment. When inflammation is reduced and blood sugar is controlled, the body shifts into a more protective state. Cells communicate more clearly, repair mechanisms work more efficiently, immune surveillance improves. This makes it harder for abnormal cells to adapt and survive. Another often overlooked factor is the role of fat tissue in inflammation. Excess body fat, particularly around the abdomen, produces inflammatory signals that circulate throughout the body. These signals interfere with immune function and metabolic health. Foods that support healthy weight management, such as high fiber and protein-rich whole foods, help reduce this inflammatory burden without extreme dieting. Gut health is also deeply involved in inflammation and blood sugar regulation. A healthy gut barrier prevents inflammatory substances from entering the bloodstream. Beneficial gut bacteria help regulate glucose metabolism and produce compounds that reduce inflammation. Diets rich in fiber, fermented foods, and plant diversity strengthen this barrier and improve metabolic control. When the gut barrier is compromised, inflammatory molecules leak into circulation, triggering immune responses throughout the body. This constant immune activation contributes to chronic inflammation and metabolic dysfunction. Supporting gut health, rough food helps calm these signals at their source. Stress also influences inflammation and blood sugar, and food can either amplify or buffer this effect. Chronic stress raises blood sugar and increases inflammatory hormones. Nutrient-dense foods provide the raw materials needed for stress regulation, including minerals and antioxidants that support nervous system balance. When stress responses are better regulated, metabolic and immune systems work more smoothly. It's important to understand that this process doesn't happen overnight. The internal environment is shaped by daily habits repeated over time. One healthy meal doesn't erase years of imbalance, and one indulgent meal doesn't undo progress. What matters is the overall pattern. When people shift their diet toward whole anti-inflammatory foods and away from highly processed options, measurable changes occur. Inflammatory markers decrease, blood sugar control improves, immune signaling becomes more efficient. These changes create an environment where healthy cells thrive and stressed cells struggle to adapt. Again, this is not about curing disease. It's about resilience. It's about creating conditions that support the body's natural defenses and reduce unnecessary stress. Medical treatments work best in a body that is well nourished, metabolically balanced, and less inflamed. This perspective changes how we think about food. Instead of asking whether a food is good or bad, we ask what signals it sends. Does it increase inflammation or reduce it? Does it destabilize blood sugar or support balance? Over time, these signals shape the internal terrain. When inflammation and blood sugar are under control, the body regains its ability to regulate itself. Immune cells become more effective, repair systems work more efficiently, and the environment becomes far less welcoming to abnormal cell growth. That's T. The quiet power of food, not dramatic, not instant, but deeply influential. Each meal is an opportunity to lower internal stress, restore balance, and support the systems that protect you every day. One of the most extraordinary things about the human body is that it is constantly renewing itself. At this very moment, old cells are being broken down, damaged components are being recycled, and new cells are taking their place. This process happens quietly, automatically, and largely without your awareness. It is one of the most important ways your body protects itself from disease, including cancer. And what many people don't realize is that your daily eating habits directly influence how well this system works. Your body has built-in quality control systems designed to identify cells that are no longer functioning properly. Some cells accumulate damage over time. Others stop responding to normal growth signals. When this happens, the body has mechanisms to either repair these cells or remove them entirely. This is not an emergency response. It's routine maintenance. Think of it as housekeeping at a cellular level. One of the key players in this process is immune surveillance. Specialized immune cells constantly patrol your tissues, looking for cells that behave abnormally. These immune cells need energy, nutrients, and clear communication signals to do their job effectively. When the body is overwhelmed by poor nutrition, constant eating, inflammation, or metabolic stress, this surveillance system becomes less efficient. Food directly affects how sharp this immune surveillance remains. Nutrient-dense foods provide vitamins, minerals, and bioactive compounds that support immune cell metabolism and communication. When immune cells are well supported, they are better able to recognize subtle abnormalities before they escalate into larger problems. Another crucial proc. S is cellular repair. Every day, your DNA experiences damage from normal metabolism, environmental exposures, and aging. Your body has sophisticated repair enzymes that scan DNA and correct errors. These repair systems rely on nutrients like folate, zinc, magnesium, and antioxidants to function properly. Whole foods naturally provide these compounds in balanced forms that the body recognizes and uses efficiently. When repair systems are well nourished, many potentially harmful changes are corrected before they ever become permanent. But when these systems are under-resourced, errors can accumulate. Over time, this increases stress on immune defenses and makes it harder for the body to maintain order. Equally important is your body's ability to remove cells that cannot be repaired. This process is part of natural cellular turnover. Cells that are too damaged are signaled to shut down and be safely dismantled. The components are then recycled and reused by healthier cells. This is a normal and necessary process for long-term health. One of the most fascinating aspects of this cleanup system is that it is influenced not just by what you eat, but also by when and how often you eat. Constant snacking and overconsumption keep the body in a state of continuous digestion and storage. In this state, cleanup and recycling processes are slowed because energy is diverted toward processing incoming calories. When the body experiences natural breaks between meals, it has the opportunity to shift its focus from digestion to maintenance. During these periods, cellular cleanup becomes more active. This allows damaged components to be removed more efficiently and reduces internal clutter that can interfere with normal cell function. Certain foods further support this cleanup process. Foods rich in polyphenols, such as berries, green tea, dark leafy greens, and herbs, activate PR, protective pathways that enhance cellular resilience. These compounds act as signals that encourage cells to strengthen their stress response systems and improve internal efficiency. Gut health also plays a major role in immune surveillance and cellular cleanup. Beneficial gut bacteria help train immune cells and influence inflammation throughout the body. They also produce compounds that support the integrity of the gut barrier, preventing harmful substances from entering the bloodstream and triggering unnecessary immune responses. When the gut barrier is strong, immune cells can focus on real threats rather than being constantly activated by leaked inflammatory signals. This improves immune precision and reduces long-term immune exhaustion. A diet rich in fiber, fermented foods, and plant diversity supports this balance and strengthens the connection between the gut and the immune system. Another often overlooked factor is protein quality. Proteins provide the building blocks for immune cells, repair enzymes, and signaling molecules. Consuming adequate, high-quality protein helps maintain muscle mass, immune strength, and metabolic stability as we age. This is especially important because muscle tissue plays a role in glucose regulation and overall immune health. Sleep and circadian rhythm also interact closely with nutrition to influence cellular repair and cleanup. The body performs much of its repair work during rest. Eating late at night, consuming heavy or highly processed foods, or disrupting natural sleep cycles interferes with these processes. Choosing lighter, nutrient-dense meals and allowing time between eating and sleep supports the body's natural rhythm of repair. Stress is another factor that can quietly sabotage immune surveillance and cellular renewal. Chronic stress diverts resources away from maintenance and repair. Nutrient-rich foods help buff stress responses by supporting nervous system balance and reducing oxidative stress. This creates a more favorable internal environment for long-term cellular health. What's powerful about all of this is how interconnected it is. Immune surveillance, DNA repair, cellular cleanup, gut health, metabolic balance, and stress regulation are not separate systems. They work together as a coordinated network. Food influences every part of this network simultaneously. This means small daily choices matter more than extreme interventions. You don't need perfect meals or rigid rules. What your body responds to is consistency. When most of your meals support immune strength, repair, and cleanup, your internal systems become more efficient over time. It's also important to be clear and responsible. Supporting these processes does not guarantee disease prevention, and it does not replace medical care, but it does strengthen the body's natural resilience. It helps the body do what it was designed to do more effectively. When people understand this, food becomes less about restriction and more about partnership. You're not trying to control your body. You're giving it the resources it needs to maintain balance, identify problems early, and clean up damage before it accumulates. The body is not fragile. It is adaptive, intelligent, and remarkably capable. But it depends on signals from your environment, and food is one of the strongest signals you provide every day. By choosing foods that support immune surveillance, cellular repair, and natural cleanup, you help create conditions where health is maintained quietly in the background, not through force, but through balance, not through fear, but through daily nourishment. And that quiet, consistent support may be one of the most powerful health strategies you have.